Hello and welcome to Some Grub with Mark Russell. Today we're doing Thai green chicken curry. So as you can see, there's a lot of green in Thai green chicken curry. So there's four parts to Thai green chicken curry. There's obviously the chicken. Then there is the paste. The paste consists of coriander or cilantro. I've got curry leaves here, but you can use basil, green bell pepper, onion or shallot, garlic, ginger, chili. I'm only putting in 2 chillies because otherwise it'll be very hot. Lemongrass, but I'm using just a lemon and the juice from the lemon, otherwise lime juice, and then a teaspoon of soy sauce. I'm normally use a tablespoon, but this is quite a dark soy sauce, so I'll use 1. We then throw in coconut milk to make a sauce out of the paste, and then towards the end we'll add vegetables. First things first, I'm going to put a medium-sized pot on the stove with medium heat and put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I am then going to chop up my green peppers. You don't have to cut them too finely, and I will add them into the pot to start cooking. The same goes for the onions. I don't need to chop the onions too finely because I am going to blend this mixture once it's all cooked. So just chopped it roughly. I have a nice big onion just to give it some volume. Onions are great in creating sauces. Then I'm going to take the coriander and the curry leaves and I'm going to pick off the leaves and add them to the pot, so you don't need the stems. I'm going to keep stirring the pot every now and again while I keep adding to the pot. I'm then cutting ginger pretty finely. I'm using about a thumb size portion of ginger. Again, doesn't have to be cut too finely because I'm going to blend this at the end of the day. Then I'm adding a heaped teaspoon of garlic and a teaspoon of soy sauce. Every 2 to 3 minutes during this process, I'm going to be giving the pot a stir just to make sure it doesn't burn. Just remember to keep track of it. And then I'm going to grate in the rind of a lemon and then squeeze in the remainder of the juice. Just make sure there's no pips, and then I'll add in my 2 chilies chopped up finely with seeds. The seeds will be in the chilies just to give it that burn. As you can see, it's already starting to get all soft and colorful. Then once your ingredients are all in the pot, I'm going to put a skillet on the stove and also on medium heat, and I'm going to start chopping the chicken up. You want the chicken in small inch cube sizes. You want them even in size so they all cook at the same rate. When the oil is hot, I'm placing it into the pan and then turn them over every minute or so. I'm then going to season the chicken with salt and pepper. Now you only want the chicken to go white. You don't want them to go brown or anything. You just want to get it up to temperature. Every now and then I will stir the pot. Once the pot looks like it's all coming together, I'm going to take the coconut milk and add it into the pot and stir it up. As you can see, I'm still turning the chicken, starting to go white, and you can see on the left the coconut milk is starting to mix in with the ingredient. And I'm going to set it aside. Then after about 5 minutes, I'm going to take the chicken with the pan off the stove and leave it in the skillet so it can keep up the temperature. After about 5 minutes, I'm going to take the pot off the stove. I am then going to take my stick blender and slowly start blending it in different spots I do it slowly because I don't want it to splash, but once it starts getting finer, I'm then going to be a bit more aggressive with the blending. Once all the chunks seem to Once all the chunks look like they've gone, I am then going to add the pot back to the stove and get it up to temperature. Once the pot is back on the stove, I'll then add the par-cooked chicken back to the curry. I'll then lower the heat to a simmer for the chicken to cook slowly. I will mix the chicken in. Make sure it's all covered nicely in the new sauce. Put the lid on and then let it bubble away. The last ingredient for the chicken curry pot is I'm going to add about 4 baby marrows to the curry. I'm chopping them into 1 centimeter coins and I'll add them to the pot. As you can see, it's all bubbling away very nicely. And I'll give it a stir every now and then just to make sure it's not sticking on the bottom or anything, but it is. This dish is pretty much ready to eat, but there's a couple other things I want to get done before we chow. So the broccoli and cauliflower, I decided very late that it wasn't going to be a good addition in the pot. So what I'm doing is I'm putting them in a baking tray. I'll lace the broccoli and cauliflower with olive oil, about 2-3 tablespoons. Then I'll sprinkle on salt and pepper, and I'll put it in the oven at 200 degrees for about 15 minutes. I'm then going to start with the rice. I'm going to put in 4 cups of water onto high temperature and bring the water up to a boil. I'm then going to take a cup of rice, so it's 4 cups of water to 1 cup of rice, and I'm going to pre-rinse the rice. A lot of people don't do this, but you actually, if you give your rice a rinse before you cook it, it actually gets more light and fluffy and you don't get the murky rice water. I'm going to leave the white rice on the stove for 15 minutes once it's been up to the boil. After 15 minutes I'll then take it off the boil and I will give it another rinse. As you can see, as I lift up the rice, there's still rice milk at the bottom, but it's not as murky as you normally have it. By now the broccoli and cauliflower should be done in the oven. It's nice and toasted, and it's time to eat.